Hello, I'm John Kinniston, one of the Active Schools coordinators in Glasgow. And this is the next episode in a series of inspirational sporting moments and what we can learn from them. This episode is all about a runner called Kathrine Switzer, who in 1967 ran a race which changed women's running forever. Up to this point, the furthest that women could run was only 800 metres. Please watch the following video carefully. It's an interview with Kathrine many years later as she reflects on what happened on that day that changed her life and changed women's sport forever.
So I filled out the entry form. I signed my name with my initials. I signed KV Switzer. And when I signed it that way, obviously when the form went in, they couldn't tell it from a guy's.
The world's most famous foot race even attracts a leggy lady, Kay Switzer of Syracuse.
So there we were with my coach, Arnie Briggs, and my boyfriend, an All-American football player, Tom Miller. When other runners would come by, they would say, "Oh, it's a girl!" And they were so excited. And Arnie was saying, "Yep, I've trained her." And all of a sudden, the flatbed truck is in front of us, and I heard the photographer saying, "Slow down, slow down, slow down." And they were taking pictures of us. On this truck was the race directors. One of them was a feisty character by the name of Jock Semple. He just stopped the bus, jumped off, and ran after me. Suddenly I turned and he just grabbed me and screamed at me, "Get out of my race and give me those numbers." And then he started clawing at me, trying to rip my numbers off. And I was so surprised. And he had the fiercest face of any guy I'd ever seen, and out of control, really. I was terrified. And all of a sudden, my boyfriend, Big Tom, gave Jock the most incredible crossbody block and sent Jock flying. And all of this happened in front of the press truck. The journalists got very aggressive. "What are you trying to prove? You know, are you a suffragette? Are you a crusader?" Whatever that is, you know. And I said, "What? I'm just trying to run." They finally left. Then it got very quiet. Snow's coming down. Nobody's saying anything. And I turned to Arnie. And I said, "Arnie, you know, I've gotten you into a lot of mess here, I guess." But I said, "I don't know where you stand in this." But I said, "I'm going to finish this race on my hands and my knees if I have to. Because nobody believes that I can do this." And suddenly I realized, you know, if I don't finish this race, then everybody's going to believe women can't do it and that they don't deserve to be here and that they're incapable. I've got to finish this race. I finished in 4 hours, 20 minutes. That race changed my life. It wasn't until about midnight when we were driving back from Boston to Syracuse University and we stopped on the thruway to get an ice cream and some coffee. Did we see the newspapers and the covered front and back of all the different editions with the pictures. I realized that now this was very, very important, and this was going to change my life, and it was probably going to change women's sports.
I hope you enjoyed watching that video and just seeing the impact that she had by running that race and the difference it's made. Here is a summary of some of the things that Kathrine Switzer influenced and changed for women's running. I just want to highlight one thing that Kathrine worked hard at and campaigned for, and that was that the women's marathon would be included in the Olympics. In 1984, Joan Benoit won the first women's Olympic marathon, and Kathrine Switzer commentated on that race. In this series, we've been thinking about inspirational sporting moments and what we can learn from them. And so I've got a question for you to consider and to think about, and that is, what changes do you think have happened over the last 50 years, especially for women, since that historic race in Boston in 1967? Here are some of the things that commentators have mentioned have made a difference and changed in that last 50 years. The acceptance of women, full running equality in the Olympics, equal prize money, the realization of women's great ability and perhaps superior potential in endurance running. I hope you enjoyed this episode about Kathrine Switzer. Because of her, women are allowed to run the same distances as men, so make sure you take advantage and get out and run and take part in running races. Thanks for watching and look out for the next episode.